You stepped off that plane, you grabbed your bags, maybe you took a photo of the new skyline, and everything felt electric. That feeling right there, that buzzing excitement mixing with jet lag, that is exactly what is going to trick you. Because the first 72 hours in a new city do not feel like the beginning of a hard chapter. They feel like a vacation. And that distinction is going to cost you if you are not ready for it. Welcome back. This is video 27 in our relocation series. And today we are talking about the first 3 days in your new city, which are simultaneously the easiest and the most deceptive period of your entire move. I am going to walk you through exactly what to expect, what to do, and more importantly, when that vacation feeling evaporates and reality walks through the door uninvited. Let us start with why the first 72 hours feel so good. When you arrive somewhere new, your brain is flooded. Everything is novel. The street signs look different. The coffee tastes different. Even the air pressure feels different. Your brain is in full observation mode, which actually suppresses stress responses temporarily. Psychologists call this the novelty buffer, and it is a real phenomenon. Your nervous system is too busy cataloging new information to have a full anxiety response about the enormity of what you have just done. You moved your entire life. But right now, your brain is just thinking about that interesting little bakery you passed on the way from the airport. This is why so many people describe their first few days in a new city as magical. It genuinely feels that way, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying it. The mistake is assuming the magic means you are handling everything fine, and therefore you do not need to take care of the practical basics immediately. So let us talk about those basics, because they are not glamorous, but they will determine whether week 2 destroys you or feels manageable. Your first stop when you arrive should always be temporary housing stabilization. Whether you have booked an Airbnb, a serviced apartment, a short-stay hotel, or you are crashing with someone you know, your first job is to make that space feel less like a transit zone and more like a temporary home base. This is not about unpacking everything. You probably cannot yet. This is about identifying where your chargers are, where your toiletries are, and making sure you have a comfortable place to sleep tonight and tomorrow night. Sounds basic because it is, but people routinely skip this step, running out to explore the city immediately, and then they collapse at midnight, unable to find their toothbrush or their medication because nothing is remotely organized. Spend 30 minutes doing a basic unpack when you arrive. Essentials only. Clothes for the next 3 days accessible. Chargers plugged in. That is it. You are done. Now you can go explore. The second thing you need to do within the first few hours, and I genuinely mean hours, is get a local SIM card. This might feel like a minor logistics task, but it is actually the single most important practical step you can take on day 1. Without local data, you are navigating a foreign city on Wi-Fi islands. You find a coffee shop, connect, plan your route, leave, and then stand on a street corner with no directions. You look for a pharmacy and cannot search for one. You need to call a landlord or a property manager and you have no signal. Most major cities around the world have convenience stores, phone carrier kiosks, or airport counters where you can get a prepaid local SIM within minutes of landing. Prices vary enormously by country, but almost everywhere this is an affordable, fast process. Do it before you leave the airport if you can. If you missed that window, make it your first errand. Everything else you need to do in the next 72 hours is easier when you have reliable local connectivity. Third on your list is food. And I am not talking about finding the most authentic local restaurant for your first cultural dining experience. I am talking about groceries. Basic groceries. The kind that require no cooking skill and no local knowledge. Bread, fruit, something with protein, water, whatever you actually eat when you are tired and overwhelmed. You need to know where the nearest supermarket or grocery store is, and you need to go there today. Here is why this matters more than it sounds. Decision fatigue is real, and it hits hard in new environments because everything requires decisions. What street do you take? What does this label say? How does the payment system work here? By the time day 2 rolls around and you have been out exploring, navigating, and processing, the last thing you will want to do is figure out where to eat dinner. If you have food in your temporary accommodation, that decision is already made. You have protected your energy for the things that actually need it. Now, here is the moment we need to talk about. The exact moment reality hits. It usually happens between hour 48 and hour 60. Not at the end of day 1 when you are still running on arrival adrenaline. Not at the very beginning of day 2 when the novelty is still filtering everything. It happens somewhere in that murky middle stretch, often triggered by something completely mundane. You try to do something simple. Mail a package, set up a bank account, find a doctor, call a utility company. And it does not work. Not because you are incompetent, but because you do not yet know how this place works. You do not know which app everyone here uses. You do not know what documentation is required. You do not know if you are supposed to take a number or stand in a line or book online 3 weeks in advance. And in that moment, the novelty buffer dissolves. The magic feeling drops away, and you are left standing in an unfamiliar system, feeling completely alone, wondering what you have actually done. This moment is normal. I want to say that again because you need to hear it when you are in it. This moment is completely, universally, undeniably normal. Every single person who has ever relocated experiences a version of this. The city did not deceive you. The excitement was real. And the difficulty is also real. Both things exist at the same time. What you do in that moment matters enormously. The instinct is to either push through and exhaust yourself, or to spiral and start questioning the entire decision. Neither of those responses is useful. What actually works is scaling down. When the overwhelm hits, you stop trying to accomplish the big tasks. You return to the list of basics. Did you drink water today? Did you eat something? Do you know where you're sleeping tonight? Yes, good. Everything else can wait until tomorrow. There is a concept in high-performance psychology around anchoring to small wins during periods of high stress. And relocation is absolutely a high-stress period regardless of how positive it is. The small wins, a SIM card that works, a bag of groceries, knowing your nearest subway stop, are not trivial. They are your psychological foundation for the weeks to come. Treat them as seriously as you would the bigger tasks. Let us bring this back to practical specifics for your 72-hour window. Day 1 is for stabilizing your base, getting local connectivity, and sourcing basic food. That is your entire job. If you do those 3 things, you have succeeded at day 1. Day 2 is for building familiarity. Walk around your immediate neighborhood. Find the pharmacy. Find the supermarket you will actually use regularly. Figure out how public transportation works near where you are staying. You are not solving your whole life today. You are drawing a mental map of your immediate environment. This is more important for your well-being than it sounds because familiar landmarks reduce cognitive load. Every time you walk past something you recognize, your brain relaxes slightly. You are building comfort through repetition. Day 3 is when you can start making your first real appointment, or tackling the first administrative task on your list. But only one. Not 4. 1. Because you are still in the buffer zone and you need to protect your capacity. The first 72 hours are not a test of whether you made the right decision. They are not a preview of everything that relocation will be. They are a transition zone, a decompression period, a bridge between the life you came from and the life you are building. Treat them that way, and you will enter week 2 with energy, with a foundation, and with the kind of realistic optimism that actually sustains long-term relocation. We have got so much more coming in this series. Next video, we are diving into the first week of administrative tasks and how to prioritize them without losing your mind. Hit subscribe so you do not miss it, and drop in the comments below what your most overwhelming moment was in your first 72 hours in a new city. Because I guarantee you, someone watching right now needs to read exactly what you experienced.